wins have the Florida Sundogs feeling good about lucky number 7. But the Nevada Hot Dice aren't about to cash in their chips just yet, despite personal controversy.
Be my wife.
Florida continues striving to be number 1. But the career breaker, Richard Brown, has recently formed an unorthodox alliance with the evil enforcer, Mark D'Amato.
That is good.
Cover your knees as the Nevada Hot Dice take aim at the Florida Sundogs. Next on Roller Jam.
From Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, this is the World Skating League. Tonight's marquee matchup, the Nevada Hot Dice against the Florida Sundogs. Welcome, everyone, to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resick, along with Lee Rehrman and roller derby legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. Two teams, very honestly, as of late, the Roller Jam guys have been very kind to. The Florida Sundogs coming off very impressive wins over the California Quakes and the New York Enforcers, and the Nevada Hot Dice, everything has been going their way. Richard Brown has been reinstated. Jason McDaniel has returned from a broken collarbone and honestly lived up to all the hype surrounding his return. And Lee Rehrman, of course, on the women's side, a key matchup. Shea Brown for the Hot Dice, and as always, Denise Loden for the Florida Sundogs.
Well, what's really interesting about this matchup is Shea Brown has modeled herself after Denise Loden. We know Denise Loden has actually put a men's jammer helmet on recently, but Denise Loden, we always talk about her being the premier women's prototype for the perfect skater in the World Skating League. Shea Brown has recognized that, modeled herself after it, and in fact, when they get together, there's always a chip on the shoulder of Shea Brown to show Denise Loden that she's an up-and-comer.
And, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the rivalry between Sam Martin and his brother Micah Martin.
Well, these guys, whether it's green hair or whether it's red hair, I don't care what color hair, these two guys go at it. Richard Brown, when he was a Sundog, Sam Martin was his protege. Now Micah Martin is his protege. A little bit darker Richard Brown with the Hot Dice. Always a great matchup between the Martin brothers.
And Buddy Atkinson, no question, Bill Barker, the most physical of the Florida Sundogs, but he's going to have to contend with both the physical play of Richard Brown and Mark Webber.
You telling me? I'll tell you, this guy is got his hands full, but he's a very aggressive fella in the sense that he can take a bang, he gives a bang, he's not afraid of Richard, without a doubt. And as far as Webber goes, there's a clash there because they're both, struggling to see who's going to be outdoing the other one. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to lean a little heavy today with the dogs because I think Barker's brought some stuff to this team that nobody totally realizes yet.
And you hear the music. Let's welcome the Nevada Hot Dice. The Nevada Hot Dice, it's been quite a while since we've been able to talk about any momentum for this club, but they certainly haven't coming into this game. Richard Brown back, they're getting his leadership. He is a great coach, a good strategist, and certainly the return of Jason McDaniel has really buoyed this club, and we'll see, because here they come, the Florida Sundogs. The Florida Sundogs as well, a ton of momentum, and they've strung together some very, very impressive wins. In fact, talking to a lot of people in and around the World Skating League, right now they are the hottest team in the WSL. And Hawk, I think they've definitely served notice that the New York Enforcers are no longer the only elite team in the WSL.
Well, it was only a few weeks ago where we saw this team in disarray with not even enough people to field a men's unit. And Denise Loden had to pick it up for them, but they're back and they got momentum now, Ken.
And now starting for the Florida Sundogs will be Captain Denise Loden, Andrea Franklin, Lindsey Francis, Kathy Evangelo, and Suzanne Chalene. For the Hot Dice, Mandy Osborne, Laura Weintraub, Katie Cooper, Shea Brown, and the leader of the Showgirls, Kim Hart. And we're at the starting line. You see the Dice girl telling us it's period number 1, and that's how we start the beginning of each period. A little bit of surprise right off the bat for the Hot Dice. Mandy Osborne coming out. Usually they counter with Mindy Smith, but it's Mandy Osborne and Laura Weintraub for the Hot Dice. Andrea Franklin out jamming for the Sundogs, being followed up by Kathy Evangelo. You see Osborne and Weintraub with a double block. Franklin trying to get by, and she pulls them both down. A smart move allowing Evangelo to fly right on over them. Kathy Evangelo all alone. Great teamwork by Andrea Franklin pulling down both the Dice jammers. You see Kathy Evangelo signaling to someone in the crowd, number 1, and right now they are, the Sundogs are indeed number 1 in the WSL. Shea Brown is back to block out, does a good job of using the top post of the track to pin Kathy Evangelo. Again, Shea Brown using the stiff arm. Now you see Suzanne Chalene to try and help her teammate. Shea Brown does a very good job of avoiding Chalene. So far, Evangelo unable to get by Shea Brown. Brown, of course, the most physical of the Nevada Hot Dice. We run out of time, and the first jam is scoreless, courtesy of big Shea Brown.
And Shea Brown's picking up right where she left off, Ken, as she dons a jammer helmet. She can do both, and she's been doing both very well here in the World Skating League. But you mentioned the Nevada Hot Dice not sending out Mindy Smith as a jammer. Debbie Rice wasn't sent out by the Florida Sundogs either. I'm wondering if it's strategy or if maybe she's still smarting from that broken wrist.
We're underway once again, and we talked about, if you just joined us this week in the WSL, Debbie Rice, the fastest gal in the Florida Sundogs, coming off a broken wrist that she broke in 3 places. And certainly the A team out jamming for both teams. That's Denise Loden between Shea Brown and Kim Hart. Nevada going with their 2 most physical skaters. And Denise Loden sends Kim Hart right into the rail. Hart looked like she ran right into her midsection, may have taken out her wind. And now a big knee to Shea Brown. But we talked about Brown's physical play, the way she stepped it up. And she is able to maintain her balance. In fact, coming around, takes the inside and regains the lead. Loden again combines great skating with a tremendous amount of physical play. Not to be mistaken for dirty play, but very, very physical, perhaps as physical as there is in the WSL. And now she goes right around one of the Hot Dice, picks up a point, and Shea Brown returns the favor, goes by Kathy Evangelo. 1 point so far for each of the 2 teams. And now Loden and Shea Brown go at it at the post. We've tied it up at 1 apiece, and here they go.
Well, Denise Loden came out this jam with a jammer helmet on. We were talking last jam about Shea Brown, how she's really stepped up her play, Ken. And Denise Loden, not one to be outdone, does it on the jam, goes right after Shea Brown as Denise Loden's boyfriend, perhaps, looks on admiringly to the play of Denise Loden.
Still waiting for Denise Loden to give Sean Atkinson a reply to his marriage proposal from earlier on.
I'm jealous.
Buddy Atkinson, let me ask you, is there any more complete skater in the WSL in your mind than Denise Loden?
I think she's a fantastic skater, but I'll tell you what, she's got a lot of people right on her heels because we've got some tremendous skaters in the WSL.
Talking about a tremendous skater, we're looking at Gina Lombardo right there, being trailed by Mindy Smith. We're wondering when Mindy Smith will put the jammer helmet on right there, and she is able to use Gina Lombardo. Got a little too far forward in her stance. Very alert play by Smith, saw her off balance, took her right down to the track and never even broke stride. Now, Smith goes right by one of the Florida Sundogs, putting another point on the board. A great job by Mindy Smith as she comes around. Smith doing a phenomenal jamming job as she goes razzle-dazzle around, and the Florida Sundogs almost a pull away. Now we see Mindy Smith cutting it off, but a good job of jamming by Mindy Smith.
Well, Ken, it was a good job of jamming, but apparently the points are being called off because Mindy Smith did an illegal knockdown. You see her go down in a downward fashion to the head of Gina Lombardo. Points called off. It's 1-1. We'll be back.
In the first period, we're all tied at 1, and there you see Mindy Smith sitting in the penalty box. Referee Sean Corbin not only waved off the points, but put her in the penalty box for a 1-jam penalty for that downward hit. So a nice opportunity for Florida now. And you see Suzanne Chalene taking the big whip from Denise Loden, springs her free, being chased by Laura Weintraub, one of the showgirls of the Nevada Hot Dice. 2 certainly of the quicker girls on the track. Weintraub, without question, the former women's hockey player, far and away the more physical of the 2. Suzanne Chalene likes to skate more than the physical aspect of roller jam. But right now, Suzanne Chalene pulls one out of Laura Weintraub's book, tries to give her the elbow, but in no way does it affect Weintraub. Weintraub, one of the best balanced skaters in the WSL. Again, that comes from her college hockey experience. And Suzanne Chalene with the elbow this time takes Weintraub down. Katie Cooper now back trying to block out Suzanne Chalene. They come around, and now you see Andrea Franklin going back to try and give her teammates some help. And Franklin goes down, takes the skates out from underneath Katie Cooper. Suzanne Chalene goes by, picks up the point, and waves it off. Nice teamwork by the Sundogs.
Well, we've seen strange strategy, not strange, but interesting strategy about both teams, Ken. We've seen different jammers out on almost every jam. Both teams are trying to find a balance between their powerful jammers and their finesse jammers, and we'll see how both teams in this chess match, which team gets the upper hand.
2-1 Florida Sundogs as we are nearing the end of this first period in this WSL matchup between the Nevada Hot Dice and the Florida Sundogs. Now it's Gina Lombardo coming out, and this is the first time we've seen the speedster, Debbie Rice. You see that big cast on her right arm. She broke her wrist in 3 places, surprised a lot of people, came back very, very quick, and they take the Nevada Hot Dice, jam her down. The Florida Sundogs now, Lombardo and Debbie Rice, Mary, a Hot Dice jammer inside, Shea Brown down. That's 1 point apiece in the WSL. Each jammer can score when they pass an opponent. The Sundogs have already put 2 points on the board. Andrea Franklin takes down, Denise Sloan takes down Katie Cooper. 2 more points for the Sundogs. Gina Lombardo goes high. What a great jam we're seeing from Florida. Lombardo passes the entire pack, and Debbie Rice follows it right up. Gina Lombardo picks up 4 points. Debbie Rice gets 3. In fact, Lombardo may have called it off 1 second too early, and she waited. Rice would have picked up the 4th point as well, but suddenly the Sundogs break it wide open.
But, Ken, you have to look at Denise Loden as making this play happen with her blocking ability. She called up her teammates to score the points. Let's check out Roller Rules.
Roller Rules, brought to you by Dial 1-800-AT&T for collect calls.
I'm Sean Corbin, head official of the WSL. If you think it's easy being in my skates, think again. Brian Gallagher and Eric Slopey were out on a jam in this game between the Rustlers and the Quakes. When they got to the pack collapsed, and they had to go airborne. How many points would you give him? When Gallagher jumps the pack, he lands on the track, but Slopey lands on the infield. It's illegal for a jammer to pass on the infield. That means Gallagher gets 4 points, and Slopey gets a donut. Now you know the rule.
We'll be back after this.
Sundogs 9, the Nevada Hot Dice 1. We are back, everyone. The men are getting ready to take the track. Hawk, we had a real close game, and I was a little surprised. The Florida Sundogs came up, played a very controlled, physical game till the final jam.
Well, what happens with these Florida Sundogs, they are able to morph themselves to the competition. Against the New York Enforcers, they play a real finesse game, but against these Nevada Hot Dice, they started to get into a power game. It paid off for them in the first period.
And it's certainly in that final jam, the 18-wheeler in the shape of Gina Lombardo and Debbie Rice steamrolled over the Nevada Hot Dice. Now, Buddy Atkinson, you know, roller jam is so fast and so quick that a lot of times we lose the intricacies of certain plays. In that first period, Andrea Franklin executed a perfect takedown. If you would kind of take us through and explain how that works.
All right, you see Evangelo back here getting set up for her run. Now she sees that Andrea right here is setting up, but what the lockup that Andrea does right here on her arm and the pull down is so perfect, and then she lays flat out. Watch this. She's got them all under control, and here comes Kathy. She's going to be jumping right here, and she stays on the track. Beautiful play. Well executed.
Starting for the Nevada Hot Dice men, led by Captain Richard Brown, along with Mark Weber, Jason McDaniel, Randy Garrett, will be Micah Martin. And for the Sundog men, Sean Marshall, Captain America Bill Barker, David Glennie, Sam Martin, and Posse Shalene. And certainly the question will be, as we're ready to start period 2, can the Sundog men pick up right where the Sundog women left off, blowing this game open at the very end of the first period? And now coming out is Posse Shalene, and he goes flying into the corner, and now it's the Micah brothers, the Martin brothers, rather. Micah Martin, number 33 for Nevada, Sam Martin, number 10 for the Florida Sundog. These two are exactly like Gabe and Abel. They grew up together. We're both speed skaters now, to completely different philosophies on skating, and no love lost between the two brothers. But you will never find two more competitive brothers anywhere than Sam and Micah Martin. Mike, of course, easy to see when his helmet is off. The green hair for the Nevada Hot Dice. Now you see Richard Brown dropping back to try and block out as Sam Martin sends his brother into the rail. Good job. A big elbow from Richard Brown. Just absolutely dropped Sam Martin. But he saw his brother coming up, got up very quickly, and again puts his brother down. Now Sam once again closing on Richard Brown. Brown again takes him down. And Richard Brown, again the knee right to the leg of Sam Martin.
And when is Jerry Seltzer, the commissioner, going to do something about little Richard Brown? we always talk about him doing the career ender, but Sam and Micah Martin, another group you cannot talk too much about. But again, little Richard Brown is out of control here in the World Skating League, Ken, and somebody's going to have to get hurt before he stops.
Richard Brown into the penalty box. Referee Sean Corbin alertly, and I think rightly so, awarding 1 penalty point to Sam Martin. A deliberate attempt by Richard Brown to prevent him from scoring and try and injure him. You see Captain America Bill Barker giving the big whip. This is number 11, Jonathan Russell, and number 36, Jason McDaniel, out for the Nevada Hot Dice. McDaniels, they both get tangled up. Russell gets the worst of it. You saw that skate wheel catch him right in the knee. McDaniel up. McDaniel, arguably the quickest skater in all the WSL, with a big opportunity now to try and get his team back in this one as they trail it 10-1. You see McDaniel heads up calling Mark Weber back, trying to help him get by. David Glennie and Bill Barker doing a good job so far of preventing McDaniel from getting around. In fact, now they join hands, go for a double block. Weber takes him down. Jason McDaniel rolls over both of them, picks up 2 points. A big jam for Jason McDaniel.
Well, Jason McDaniel, this is his second outing back from that broken collarbone, Ken. We were talking about in the preseason to look for him to be somebody to be reckoned with, not only because of his speed, but he also gets a little flashy. And we also talked about he and Mark Weber being roommates, and there's the result. Some big points, a lot of flair, both sizzle and substance for the Nevada Hot Dice.
Nevada Hot Dice close the gap to within 7. The Florida Sundogs have been on a roll, certainly the hottest team, and so far this game is absolutely no exception. Now you see trying to break free for the Florida Sundogs. This is number 13 as he takes a whip, Tom Smith, but already he's to one of the Nevada Hot Dice. This is as they come around number 36 again, Jason McDaniel out. Now you've got all 4 jammers, Micah Martin, Jason McDaniel, Sam Martin, who lost his helmet, incidental contact. The referees wave play on. It's a referee's discretion. When a jammer loses his helmet, if he feels it was deliberate, they call off play, but they wave this one on. And now it's Jason McDaniel up front, along with number 13, Tom Smith, as they close on the pack. And you see Richard Brown blocking out, does a good job of sending Tom Smith up into the rails. Sam Martin now also trying to get by Richard Brown. Some razzle-dazzle on the part of the Sundog jammers, but so far, Richard Brown using all of his veteran experience to keep both jammers from getting by him. And now finally we run out of time. And no score on that jam, and certainly Buddy Atkinson, tremendous blocking by Richard Brown.
Excellent blocking is not the word for it. I'll tell you, he ran that team long enough. He knows those guys inside and out, and Marshall did a heck of a job too.
And Buddy, we can see, as you mentioned, Richard Brown used to be captain of the Sundogs. Emotions running a little high, doing some jawing with Sean Marshall, now getting some words of encouragement from Mark D'Amato. I still can't understand that holy alliance, or I should say unholy alliance, between Mark D'Amato and Richard Brown. At any rate, the Hot Dice kind of hanging around in this one. It is 10-3. Now you see Sean Marshall at the top of the pack, along with Richard Brown, trying to get somebody to break free. Now Micah Martin comes free, takes a whip from Randy Garrett, goes high, along with P.J. Rossi coming out for the Nevada Hot Dice. And for the Florida Sundogs is Jonathan Russell with a big opportunity. In fact, this is the first time the Hot Dice have had an advantage on the jam. And now it's wide open. And now it is just P.J. Rossi and Micah Martin, the only 2 jammers out. This the opportunity Richard Brown has been waiting for to get his team right back in this one after the Sundog women just totally annihilated his team in the first period. A great opportunity, and right there they both go around. And it was Micah Martin who's his skate hit the infield, but he gets back up very quickly, or rather P.J. Rossi, and they both go by. And the referee awards a total of 4 points to each jammer. 8 points for the Nevada Hot Dice. And boy, not only are they back in this one, but unbelievable, they've now taken the lead.
Well, not only did Micah Martin score the points here, but I really have to comment on the versatility now that little Richard Brown has with the return of Jason McDaniel. He sent Micah Martin out as a jammer almost every jam so far, Ken, because he knows he has Jason McDaniel in his bag of tricks. These Nevada Hot Dice have a lot of big guns now for the men's side of the ball.
And you see the brother combination, the rivalry. Sam Martin grabbed the jammer helmet. No way was he going to take that from his brother's team. His brother scoring 4 points along with P.J. Rossi's 4. And now Sam Martin in the lead, but Micah Martin. And everybody runs into the pack. They all get jammed up. Micah Martin continues on through. Tom Smith goes through. Sam Martin goes down. I think he gets by Richard Brown. We'll wait for the scoring. Okay, Micah Martin picks up 2 points. Tom Smith picks up 1 point. Sam Martin gets 1 point. What looked like a Sundog blowout. The Dice in the lead by 1. We'll be back. Dice 13, the Florida Sundogs 12. We're at halftime, everyone. Welcome back to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick along with Lee Rehrman and Buddy Atkinson Jr. Very honestly, in that second period, the Sundog men fell asleep. The Nevada Hot Dice on offensive explosion led by Micah Martin, 6 points, P.J. Rossi's 4 points, and Jason McDaniels 2 points. And Hawk, certainly Micah Martin has the edge over his brother.
Well, Micah Martin really got it done. And the last time these two brothers met, if you're scoring at home, you remember Sam Martin was kind of nowhere to be seen, came up with the big victory to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And I guess Micah Martin didn't like it, because if you are scoring at home, let's take a look. The first jam of the second period, Sam Martin scored 1, drew first blood. But in the fourth jam, Micah scored 4 big points. And in the final jam, Micah scored 2, Sam scored 1 to bring the Martin brother rivalry today, at least, to 6 for Micah, 2 for Sam. So if you're scoring at home, Micah got the best of him, at least for the second period. And how about P.J. Rossi scoring 4 big points coming from nowhere, also for the Nevada Hot Dice game.
And certainly if you're scoring at home, the Nevada Hot Dice women were totally dominated by the Sundog women. On the other side of the coin, the Sundog men totally were dominated by the Hot Dice men. Now, gentlemen, you may want to set your VCRs. Here is an entirely different look, one I'm sure you'll enjoy, at the women of the World Skating League.
You're used to seeing the women of the World Skating League in the heat of battle. But at a recent charity event, these bank track beauties put their differences aside and showed that women can be strong and sexy. A good cause and a good time. This was one time when all the teams came out winners.
Now you know why I told you to set your VCRs. One of the gals you saw in that video, Denise Loden, says she has something she needs to say. Danny?
Denise Loden, you said you had a special announcement to make at halftime. Well, it's halftime. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. First of all, where's Sean Atkinson? Come here. Come here. Now, I think not so long ago, you had a question for me. What was that question?
That question was, will you marry me? Oh.
I love you with all my heart, and I'd be happy to be your wife.
All right, definitely an emotional, a surprising moment. Who knows the effects this will have on the World Skating League, but it seems like all her teammates are happy. Sean's happy. Russie Montgomery certainly not happy. And very interesting. We'll see what happens. Back to you, Hawk and Ken.
It'll be very interesting to see the ramifications that acceptance will have with both the Florida Sundogs and the California Quakes. But, Buddy, congratulations, certainly in order, my friend.
I'm very pleased. In fact, I'm overjoyed. Great.
I would imagine you'd be pleased to have Denise Loden inside the Atkinson family. Buddy, in that second period, we talked earlier about the takedown Andrea Franklin executed. Not to be outdone, Mark Weber executed a takedown of his own, but this time with a very different finish. Why don't you take us through it?
Let's take a look at this, and it's really nice because Weber sets up so beautifully for this, and Mac is running perfect. You'll notice this. Now watch the double take. And he grabs a little bit, gets away with that, but it's a lot of arm. Now, here's the thing that's unbelievable. Look at this bugger. He's got a twist coming in here and a flip. Now, like I said, I've only seen this done 4 times, and this is the 4th time ever. Now, watch the landing. This is so fantastic. He comes with a flip. It's a roll. Now, watch this young man. Up. Now, look, this is the part that uses his head. He gets back up on the track. He's happier than heck. And what does he do? He calls it off, and that's what it's supposed to be.
I don't think there's any question. Jason McDaniel is more than recovered from his broken collarbone.
Fantastic.
Tremendous addition to the Nevada Hot Dice. Again, with the score, Nevada 13, the Florida Sundogs 12. We'll be back with the third period right after this.
Get up, line. online at www.rollerchamp.com. Get the latest info on...
We are back in a close one as the Dice lead this one by 1 as we get ready to start the third period. And Buddy Atkinson, let me ask you, who is going to have the tougher time? The Sundogs at the end of 1 had blown this thing completely wide open. The Nevada Hot Dice come up and take the lead at the end of 2. Who's going to have a tough time getting back into their game here?
I'm going to tell you what I really think, and it's going to be a game here that goes back and forth continually. I don't think it's going to be one person just dominating. I think it's going to come back and forth, back and forth.
We'll talk about dominating. Mindy Smith certainly dominated Gina Lombardo with that big elbow. Mindy Smith now closing on the pack. Andrea Franklin back to block. Sent Smith high into the rail. Now Kathy Evangelo again is trying to prevent Mindy Smith from getting around. Franklin and Evangelo doing a good job. Shea Brown now splits the 2. Mindy Smith, very alert play. Saw Lombardo coming up, took her down. Shea Brown goes by 1. Mindy Smith goes by 1 rather. Shea Brown sends Franklin into the rail. Mindy Smith is able to get by 2 of the Florida Sundogs. The rest of the pack doing a good job. You see Denise Loden preventing her from getting any more points. But Mindy Smith and Shea Brown combined for 2 more points. And the Nevada Hot Dice suddenly lead this one by a score of 16-12. Now I understand Sean Corbett says she did get by. The third Sundog credit Mindy Smith with 3 big points on that jam.
Well, and Mindy Smith did exactly what Buddy Atkinson Jr. said. She drew first blood here in this battle. But both teams are well-rested, are very healthy. And we saw in the first period, Ken, the women sent out a multitude of jammers on both teams. So we got a lot of big guns left in the arsenal for both teams in the third period.
Kathy Evangelo out jamming along with Suzanne Shalene. And for the Nevada Hot Dice as they come around, this looks like it's Mandy Osborne, number 37. And she avoids the rail. Suzanne Shalene goes down, gets tied up in the rail, and now it's Kathy Evangelo closing on the pack. You see Denise Loden rotated back at the end of the pack to try and help her jammer, because Florida certainly needs some points. Shea Brown now goes back at Denise Loden with a reverse whip. Evangelo goes right underneath Shea Brown. Now she goes by Mindy Smith, setting her sights on McEwen and Katie Cooper. And not quite able to get by Vicki McEwen, but still a great jam as Andrea Franklin congratulates Kathy Evangelo, who puts 2 points up on the scoreboard for the Florida Sundogs.
And Denise Loden, fresh off that engagement acceptance to Sean Atkinson, gives the big whip to Kathy Evangelo. But, Kid, I got to wonder where the heck defense went today. I guess these Sundogs and these Hot Dice must have checked their blocker helmets at the door before the game, because they are putting a lot of points on the board by a lot of people.
Well, we talked about it early on. Both these teams like to rely on speed. You see Andrea Franklin go way out in front of the pack, gives a whip to Denise Loden. Shea Brown chasing her, but both these teams like to rely on their speed, and we are certainly seeing an offensive show by the Sundogs and the Hot Dice. Buddy Atkinson, Shea Brown has really stepped up her game as of late. There's a lot of similarities between Shea Brown's game and Denise Loden's game. How do you see the two?
I'll tell you what, there's similar backgrounds in their skating, too. Both started when they were very young. The difference is with Shea Brown is a much taller girl, but the experience that Denise has is somebody to chase, and I think Shea is the person that's chasing it hard, and she's going to come around.
You see Denise Loden slowing down a little bit, hoping one of her teammates would begin to rotate back, give her some help at the back of the pack. And now she goes after and shoves down Katie Cooper from the front. I think the referees are calling it a downward shove. And exactly that, they are waving off all the points. Now you see Denise Loden finally realizing it, saying, what did I do? But WSL rules state you cannot use your arms in a downward fashion. You see it very clearly right there. Katie Cooper going down as a result of the illegal use of the hands. Referees smartly wave off all the points, and we are still 16-14 Nevada Hot Dice. Tough break for Denise Loden and the Sundogs. They had a great opportunity to more than tie this game up. You see Denise Loden now in the penalty box. A one-jam penalty for illegal use of the hands. Loden a little unhappy, but very alert call by the Florida Sundogs. Now the Nevada Hot Dice counter. It's Kim Hart, the leader of the Showgirls, but she goes down. from Lindsey Francis. And I think, Hawks, the first time we've seen Francis with a jammer helmet in this game.
Well, Lindsey Francis, like we talked about them having plenty of guns in their arsenal, is somebody who's got to be fresh and has got to be ready to score some points. But I got a question, Denise Loden. She may be a little bit distracted by the relationship with Sean Atkinson, Ken, because she really lost her concentration there, and that's why she's in the penalty box.
Bad sign for the Florida Sundogs. You saw a shot of Debbie Rice, their fastest skater, holding that wrist. Remember, she has got it broken in 3 places as down goes Lindsey Francis. We talk about Shea Brown stepping up her game, and boy, did she step it up right there, almost de-skating Lindsey Francis. Denise Loden out of the penalty box, taking exception to that solid block by Shea Brown, and now the two go at it again.
Well, we talked about Shea Brown wanting to pattern herself after Denise Loden. Buddy Atkinson Jr. said, well, she is trying to up close and personal. Maybe some of that experience she thinks might rub off, but Shea Brown, we talked about it. She's patterning herself after somebody, and she is not only patterning herself after Denise Loden, but she's taking some of that power and that pop right to Denise Loden.
There's no question this has gone from a speed and finesse game to a very physical game, and it's been led by Denise Loden and Shea Brown, and they go right out, each jamming and each the lead jammers now. Keep a close eye on these two because you see Loden going low. She's aiming for Shea Brown. It takes her right into the post. And we run out of time in the period, and these two are far from finished, and they go at it again.
Well, we talked about these two teams checking defense at the door. Well, Denise Loden and Shea Brown, they brought in all the heavy artillery going after each other. This feud continues. We'll be back after this.
The Florida Sundogs 14.
But don't forget the biggest point of the day, which may be the big one for Sean Atkinson.
There's no question about that. Buddy Atkinson, when we talk about the Florida Sundogs, we talk about the Denise Lodens, and we talk about the Debbie Rices, the Andrea Franklins. One skater who's very quietly a big part of their success is Kathy Evanzo. In fact, Kathy scored the last 2 points of the period to keep the Sundogs in it. Take us through that play.
Yes, and this is so nicely done. This is a reverse spin whip. Here goes the reverse. Here's the spin. Now, watch what Kathy does so nicely. The squat goes in there. Oh, I love that setup. Now, the step down, and then she does quick little steps, quick little steps. She's up. She does a little bump, turns around, over left shoulder, sees another jammer coming in, and she calls it off.
As we get ready to start the fourth and barring overtime final period of this one, it has really turned into a low-scoring physical battle after we had a wide-open skating battle in the first half. We'll see if the men can now generate some offense. And right away, the Nevada Hot Dice counter with their two best jammers, Jason McDaniel and Micah Martin. Martin goes down from a big elbow from Posse Chalene. Chalene was very quiet in that first half, but he's making a big statement right now as he also dropped Jason McDaniel. Posse Chalene now coming up very quickly, closing on the pack. Mark Weber back to try and block him out. Does a good job of slowing him down. Alert play by Posse Chalene. Saw Jason McDaniel catching up. He dispatched him. Now he returns his sights on Mark Weber. And you see Captain Richard Brown also rotate to the back of the pack to try and prevent Chalene from getting by him. Captain America, Bill Barker, absolutely levels Mark Weber. Chalene goes by him, goes by Richard Brown, and puts 2 points on the board to tie this game up at 16.
And Captain America, Bill Barker, was standing over Weber. We talk about Weber rolling them bones. Well, the Captain America from Bill Barker to Mark Weber may have almost broken some bones as Mark Weber goes down, but that is pretty much true to form for Captain America, Bill Barker. He doesn't say too much. He just gets it done with power, and right there for Mark Weber, it got ugly.
Well, right off the bat, the Florida Sundogs in their very first jam of this fourth period equal the total output of the Sundog women throughout the entire third period. And now it's P.J. Rossi breaking out for the Nevada Hot Dice. They have held the lead for quite a while, and it's up to Rossi. It looks like he had a skate problem. It almost looked like one of his wheels locked for a second, and just that pause allowed number 11 for the Florida Sundogs, Jonathan Russell, to catch up. But you see Richard Brown handling Russell with no problem. Meanwhile, P.J. Rossi is having his own problems trying to get by Tom Smith. Sean Marshall dropped back. Mark Weber takes out Marshall. And you see Rossi cut off the jam, but he picked up 1 point, and there's Richard Brown at it again.
Well, and he's doing it again, Ken. I can't believe that somebody here in the World Skating League isn't telling Richard Brown that he has to stop doing these knee-jerk things that he does to some of these players. And Bill Barker is giving him a little bit of maybe that message right now. But I have to question, where in the heck has Sam the Flame Martin been today, Ken? We've seen Micah Martin get out, do a great job. And with the addition and return of Jason McDaniel, things like this, they need Sam the Flame Martin to step up. He has to be a disappointment for the Florida Sundogs.
You would have to wonder if perhaps Martin may have some kind of injury we don't know about, because no one has ever questioned the heart of Sam the Flame Martin. At any rate, it's like two totally different games here, Buddy Atkinson. First half, speed, finesse, a lot of offense. Second half, physical, low scoring. Who does the matchup favor?
I'm going to go with the Dogs, and I'll tell you why. I think Barker brings the physical to this team, and he lights everybody up. So I'm going with the Dogs.
Posse Shalane getting very physical, took out both Jason McDaniel and Micah Martin, but then he got tangled up in the pack and allowed Martin and McDaniel, who got up first, to break away. And now the Dice duo close on the back. It's a one-point game as we're winding down midway through this fourth period. A great opportunity for Martin and McDaniel, where they've run right into Captain America, Bill Barker. Barker, though, needs some help. You see Posse Shalane decided not even to try and give chase, trying to stay in the pack and hopefully prevent Martin and McDaniel from going by. Oh, Mark Webber rolled their bones over Captain America, returns the favor, and both McDaniel and Micah Martin go by and each pick up a point.
And little Richard Brown does it again, kid. He goes right after Bill Barker. We saw Bill Barker get the best of little Richard Brown as an adoring Mark D'Amato looks on. You said it earlier in the game. What the heck is he doing? And Mark Webber returning the favor to Bill Barker. And last but not least, a little insult to injury from little Richard Brown to the knee, which seems to be his favorite body part of his opponent, of Bill Barker, as he goes off injured.
You've got to wonder where Commissioner Jerry Seltzer is in all this. At any rate, we've got a three-point game. We'll be back. And once again, what is becoming the rule rather than the exception, the hot dice skating shorthanded. Richard Brown once again in the penalty box for his actions taken against Captain America, Bill Barker.
Well, and I got a question, Ken. What is Richard Brown doing? If you're an NFL team, you take a roughing the passer penalty in the first quarter, not in the fourth quarter. If he's trying to set a precedent with 2 jams left, maybe he shouldn't be in the penalty box this late in the game, Ken.
But you're giving him credit. There you see Bill Barker down on the track injured. You're giving Richard Brown credit for thinking logically, which I don't think is the case.
Good point.
At least not that we've ever seen. Now the double block being set up by Webber and Randy Garrett, trying to prevent Sam Martin from going around. A double whip from Freddie and Shalane. Martin goes right underneath. Martin goes by the entire pack and picks up 5 points with Richard Brown in the penalty box. Remember, in WSL rules, if you pass the entire pack, opposing members in the penalty box, you get the point. What a move. Sam Martin puts his team back out in front.
And Sam the Flame Martin's not done yet. I had challenged him to get something done here. He hadn't done much all game, but when time is low and his team needs him, he gets it done. Ken scores points. Great job.
25 seconds to go in the game, but remember, WSL rules, the final period of the game. Once the jam is underway, it's allowed to go the full 60 seconds. It is 21-19, the Sundogs in the lead. Now Jason McDaniel breaks free, along with another of his teammates. Will wait, pick up the numbers. They come around. It's Micah Martin, and Micah sends his brother Sam down. Now out is Tom Smith, and Jason McDaniel takes Tom Smith down. Here's the opportunity. It's coming down 30 seconds. Micah Martin and Jason McDaniel. They trail by 2 points. Remember, both jammers score in the World Skating League. Richard Brown takes out David Gleddy. We're all tied up at 21. One of the other Sundogs, courtesy of Mark Webber, goes over the railing. The hot dice are ahead. All they have to do is cut it off. McDaniel skates around. There is nobody out for the Sundogs.
What are they doing?
Another whip. Jason McDaniel trying to add more points. Time expires. 6 points for the Nevada Hot Dice, and they win it going away. Jason McDaniel and Micah Martin. We talked about what a great skater McDaniel is as the brothers go at it, but the Dice come away with the win.
Well, and Ken, I hate to be arguing with Buddy Atkinson Jr., who called out that he thought the Sundogs were going to pull it out. I know it's sacrilegious to argue with his commentary, but I think this was just a matter of the Nevada Hot Dice had too many guns too late in the game and were able to score, obviously, too many points to pull it out. But Jason McDaniel and Micah Martin were just too much at the end, scored the points for a big Nevada Hot Dice victory.
Final score, Nevada Hot Dice 25, Florida Sundogs 21. The future looks very bright for the Nevada Hot Dice as their youngsters, Jason McDaniel and Micah Martin, score 6 points to win it on the final jam. In fact, they scored 16 of the entire 25 points the Hot Dice put on the scoreboard, and Micah Martin Hawk gets high score for the game with 10.
Well, not only that, but again, he avenged the loss last time to his brother Sam. At halftime, it was Micah up 6-2 over Sam, finished the game up 10-7. Micah over Sam wins the family rivalry. But the most impressive thing to me was that the Nevada Hot Dice were down 10-1 early in the second period, pulled out a big victory. Very bright days ahead, apparently, for the Nevada Hot Dice.
Buddy, I would have to think Jason McDaniel may well have been the wild card here. He's just coming back. Florida had never skated against him, really didn't know what to expect.
He did such a wonderful job. He molded himself right in there, got the plays perfect, and I'll tell you what, that's an A1.
In fact, our Broadway Danny Wolf is standing by with the victorious Hot Dice. Danny?
The Nevada Hot Dice win again, a bit of a winning streak. And Jason McDaniel, let me start with you. You're back and better than ever. Tremendous effort tonight.
Thanks a lot, man. I've been sitting on the bench for a long time. I'm just glad to get out there and do my thing. I got little Richard Brown out there helping us. We're looking good. We're going to take over this league, baby.
And Mark Weber, you rolled the bones on Bill Barker. Tremendous play.
Thank you very much, you know. All I got to say.
All right, Ken and Hawk, back to you.
For all of us at Roller Jam, I'm Ken Resnick saying so long. We'll see you again next time.